Hi there, I'm Allison Banshee of Alongside Caregiver Consulting. I'm a retired social worker and a caregiving consultant, and I love podcasting. So much so that for a while I was hosting Island Treasures for Caregivers and co-hosting a limited series podcast with Theresa Wilbanks called the Self-Caregiving Strategies Podcast. Both are available on the Whole Care Network, which I am very grateful for. You may be wondering, how did she become a podcaster? Well, when the COVID-19 pandemic shut things down, I knew I had to find a way to reach caregivers who may be feeling even more stuck and isolated because of health restrictions and lockdowns, as caregivers still needed support and encouragement, as well as the knowledge of helpful resources, similar to what I had been providing up until this point through my business. So I took a huge leap of faith and started podcasting, hoping that encouragement could reach caregivers through the podcasting airwaves. I conducted conversations with caregivers who were willing to share their caregiving stories over Zoom, and then I began producing their caregiving stories, which contained their tips, resources, and messages of hope as podcasts. Initially, many of the guests were from Vancouver Island, and as they shared their stories, I felt they were sharing treasures. And that had inspired the name for the podcast, Island Treasures. The pool of amazing guests has deepened, including guests from all over North America, and the nuggets of wisdom contained within their stories are definitely treasures. In early 2021, Island Treasures for Caregivers was invited to join the Whole Care Network. I loved this idea as it meant more caregivers could find the resources or treasures that my guest caregivers were so willingly sharing. And as I mentioned, the Self-Caregiving Strategies podcast series is also available on the Whole Care Network, as it is a valuable resource for caregivers who can learn from the sustainable caregiving strategies that Theresa created from her own personal caregiving experience. In 2021, I also introduced the mini version of the Island Treasures podcasts, based on listener feedback requesting shorter episodes for when caregivers were short on time. The mini versions are between 4 to 7 minutes long, approximately, and many of the minis are also in video format on YouTube, so you can see clips from the podcast Zoom recordings. I just want to add that having a convenient and credible site for caregivers to find podcasts, and now courses, certainly fits into the fast tracking for reliable resources that after many years working as a social worker really resonates with me. I am very excited and thankful to be part of the Whole Care Network, as I consider it to be a wonderful hub of resources for caregivers. Feel free to check it out, and thank you for listening. Take care.